Tingling relationship. Lately a few things have caught my suspicion, red flags to speak. No bonding in 6 weeks. Wife changed her Apple ID password. She is taking care of her appearance, however no strange phone calls, excessive going out etc. She goes straight to work and comes home. She does have a meet-up to a local bar with a female friend once a fortnight, which I have confirmed. What goes on there I don't know. Her phone code is still the same. I used to monitor with Web Watcher, but that became redundant when she changed Apple ID password. I have now purchased program. Very expensive. It claims it can monitor in real time, intercept everything even if deleted, and listen into her conversations in real time even if she is not on the phone. I will make it clear that if I catch my wife out on something, then I will end the marriage. A bit of backstory so you are in the loop on why these actions. Been with my wife for 12 years in total. One day about 3 years ago, whilst out shopping with her, I noticed that my wife had a PIN code on her iPhone. I asked her why she needed a PIN code, and she responded that she was sick and tired of the kids grabbing her phone, playing app games, and draining her battery. I found this response strange as our kids were away with her parents holidaying that week. I worked out that the PIN code was roughly 1 to 2 days old. That said, before heading off to my sporting commitments, I hit a VAR, which I use for work. I wasn't really expecting much at most. I thought she had probably had a guy friend calling her that she obviously did not want me to know about. Not long after I left for my game, she called me early on to see if my game was still on because there was some doubt due to weather. I responded yes and she should drop by. She said maybe. Later during the day I tried calling her and she did not answer. I tried repeatedly and she would not pick up the phone. When I arrived home, she was coming out of the shower. She was wrapped in a bath towel and she pounced on me and instigated bonding. When we were finished, I asked her where she was that day and why she had not picked up her phone. Her response was she went shopping to 3 different shopping centers and had forgot her phone in the glove box. I did note to myself that she had come home with nothing. It was an anxious 2 days before I could retrieve the VAR from the car. On the Monday before going to work, I retrieved the VAR, and that's when my world fell apart. The VAR had caught the other man calling her, asking her out that day. It was quite obvious it was a man she met a week before. I had bought her a race car voucher for her to drive but was unable to attend due to work, and she went alone. There she met the guy, as I refer to him. The VAR caught some chit-chat: are you married, where he works, she works, etc. Obviously, she met up with him at his shop and they went out from there. The VAR caught the return conversation home when he rings her whilst she is in the car, telling her he had a great time, asking her if husband suspects anything, and they were both making fun of me as I don't have a clue. They made plans to meet up again in a few days. Long story short, I confronted, she denied. I stupidly pulled out the VAR and played it to her. She cried, she begged for forgiveness, turned on the taps of bonding for a month. I did impose consequences, which were no friends of the opposite gender ever, no phone numbers, exchange, password transparency, etc. I confronted the other man without informing her. He denied he knew she was married. I called him out on it as I told him I had it on audio, and if he contacts her again I will be personally hand delivering the audio file to his wife. I sat on it for a month, then I sent his wife the audio file on email and posted him on Cheaterville. Then I posted on his business Facebook page the link to his Cheaterville story under a false Facebook account I created. The consequences I imposed held good for about a year. Last year there was a single dad in my daughter's sporting team. My girls and his girl became good friends. I overheard wife tell him they will organize a play date soon and he can come over. As I sometimes travel for work, I made it clear to my wife that he is not to come over when I'm out of the house. The next week I was away for work. Came home on a Thursday afternoon to find the single dad over with his kids. By a stroke of good fortune, my parents had decided to visit unexpectedly that day to see their grandkids. They knew I was away for work but popped in at 11 a.m. My parents informed me that he had arrived an hour after them and had been there all day until I arrived. When I arrived home and walked in, I could see the oh crap look on my wife's face. She tried to act all nice, honey this and welcome back, honey that. I basically snarled hello and proceeded to the lounge room where my parents were. They were not impressed and would not leave until I got home. The single dad leaves 10 minutes later, knowing full well he is not welcome. After my parents left, I confront my wife and informed her I will be confronting him next week at kids' sport. The following week I confronted him and had a private chat away from the kids' activities where I explained realities to him, and if he wanted to have play dates that's fine, but in future he will be setting them up with me, not my wife. Explained I don't appreciated men coming into my house when I'm out and to lose my wife's number. Wife was utterly embarrassed, but I didn't care as she was warned. This bloke leaves the club a week later and is never seen again. I provide quite well for her and the kids and she want for nothing. I suspect she has borderline personality disorder, although this is no excuse. Wife stuffed up once major and tested boundaries with the play date, however I will not tolerate a third time. I caught her once 3 years ago. She cried and begged for forgiveness. Reconciliation occurred after a lengthy talk and I set out my future expectations. I have been around the block enough times to know that when bonding dries up in the marriage, barring some medically diagnosed issue, that there is a real problem in the marriage. If I confirm that bonding has dried up cause of infidelity a second time around, then I will be separating and divorcing. If it turns out to be another issue that is not connected to infidelity, obviously I will try to work on the marriage problem. I just want to clarify, as there are so many wrong versions swinging around here. 1. I caught wife out once physical. VAR confirmed that. On a first date, something happened, I don't know what. Doesn't matter whether it was kissing, sleeping together, whatever, cheating is cheating in my book. 2. I have not rug swept anything. Problems were confronted and consequences imposed. 3. She did not drop the kids to my parents then sleep with the single dad. My play date was arranged for which I was aware would happen. She chose to disregard the bit that he is not to come over when I'm not around. Yes, clear boundary crossing, and again something was done. 4. I am very sure if I confirm anything or physical, I am done. I am not naive and have more respect for myself. Over the past weekend it was wife's birthday. Although I bought her a present, I did not plan anything special. Anyhow, she had a huge blow up over it, and this morning she wanted to know in a sit down why after 12 years of planning stuff and nice gifts I did not plan this birthday. I told her the truth, that I feel unappreciated, work pay all the bills, but all I receive in return is sarcasm, negativity, and refusal of affection. Anyhow, she didn't take it too well, wanted divorce, said I was being vindictive and deliberately planned to ruin her birthday. I told her I was more than happy to accommodate divorce, and it is about time she was held accountable for her actions. She took of her wedding rings. I informed her she needed to cover half the bills from this day forward. Wife followed up with the below message. Wife, I'm not even upset, angry, or hurt anymore. I'm just tired of putting more effort than I receive. I'm tired of holding on for nothing. I'm tired of you proving me wrong every time. I'm tired of getting my hopes up and being disappointed again and again. I responded with the following. Me, I can do nothing but be honest with you about my feelings. You can either handle that as the truth and realize that there are two people that contribute to relationship and work with me, or you can keep telling me it's my fault. Either way, I'm not putting my feelings on the back burner anymore. It takes two to resolve issues, and I feel it's easier to message you how I feel rather than speak to you in person, as you can't seem to handle my honest feelings. I have been nothing but truthful regarding the way I feel. You can either accept and respect my honest feelings and respect that I have been honest with you like an adult, or you can continue to keep blaming me for everything. I feel unappreciated. I work, pay all the bills, and provide a comfortable lifestyle for the family. You have not contributed financially to months. You are constantly negative, sarcastic towards me, and undermine me to the kids. I am refused affection, both basic and in the bedroom, and that is a huge deal for me. I try really hard to please you, but you can't seem to make up your mind on issues and stick to them. Anyway, that my honest feelings and the answers you seek. I'm not trying to be hurtful, but you need to understand you can't act all surprised and paint me as the bad guy. I have feelings too, and for far too long I've sat back and let you tell me how horrible I make you feel. Not anymore. Anyway, I'm implementing the 180 after this message. I'm done, and I'm done monitoring. If she wants divorce, I am happy to accommodate her. At the very least, I will hold her accountable for her actions, something no one has ever done before. Had an open and honest confrontation with her last night. I gave her all the home truths and how she was never really held to account for her affair and her boundary crossing. Told her that since we are now separated, there are no free rides in this house, and she is to contribute to half the mortgage and half the bills until the mess is sorted legally. Naturally, she did not like that, responded with, I was hoping we could separate in a civil manner. I responded that if she thought that I was just going to sit back and hand her 70% access to my kids and sign over the house, she had another thing coming. She knows I am going to fight tooth and nail for the kids. She has a history of depression for which she has been extensively treated for, and I have copies of all the doctor's letters stashed at my parents'. I plan to use every advantage I can to gain custody of my children. This is now trench warfare, and I have realized I must now protect myself and my kids, and above all secure their future and not let them be burdened with living with this unstable woman. The only thing left is to throw her out of the bed. I will be doing that today. I am at home from work today and will be moving all her stuff to the spare room. After moving wife's stuff to the spare room and informing her she now needs to pay half of everything, guess who now wants to reconcile? I informed her she made her bed, now she can sleep in it. And that bed is the coldness of the spare room. I have continued with the 180. Wife is pulling out all the stops, wanting to reconcile. I have disconnected, spend more time focusing on my kids and just trying in general to keep myself occupied. Although the situation in general is depressing, it feels like a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Still making her sleep in the spare room. She is continuing to chase me. She has been showing true remorse, and despite my 180 towards her, she continues to prepare my meals and wash my clothes. I told her to stop doing that, but she does it anyway. Claims she has to make up for her bad choices and childish behavior. I told her I'd have to see true remorse over a prolonged period of time before I would even consider taking her back. Also informed her if I did take her back, it's my way or the highway, as I am currently happy with this arrangement as it stands. I will clarify I have not reconciled with my wife and I am happy with the status quo at present. Wife has been showing remorse and bending over backwards. Whether or not this is true remorse or self-preservation kicking in, time will tell. I plan to test her this weekend and ask for details what happened on the date with race car guy a few years back. As for the single dad visiting that day with his kids, I know for a fact nothing happened, as my parents were there all day before he got there and did not leave until after I arrived home. However, that was a clear boundary violation of rules set when exposed. I am fully aware that this kind of behavior won't be tolerated, hence why I haven't given in to her pleas of reconciliation. I was present when they were discussing kids' play dates and she only handed over his number that day. I made it clear to wife that he is not to come over for play date when I'm not home, especially when I'm traveling for work. Unfortunately, wife chose to ignore that fact and she allowed him over the day he came. Thankfully for me, my parents were in the area and popped in unannounced before he got there. I confronted him the next week in no uncertain terms and he left our kids' club and has never been heard of again. Not making excuses for her mate, but this I'm sure of. She came clean. She said he approached her with his group of friends, asked who she was there with, and then asked her to join them on the lunch break since she was alone. Promised her race tickets and they exchanged numbers. He rang her a couple of days later and the VAR confirmed the rest. My wife now provides me with access to electronic devices at random when asked, answers her phone, and is transparent regarding her whereabouts. Understands fully that friends of the opposite gender are a complete no-go. I'm not claiming the marriage is now perfect, but boundaries have been set and I genuinely believe she is fully aware that breaking any of these will result in divorce. Few months later, a few things have raised my red flags. She has been getting stuck into me a lot lately. Then today she claimed she was going to the gym, then rang to say she couldn't find parking so was meeting a friend that works close by. For the record, said friend does work very near but only has half-hour lunch break. When I didn't hear from her, I used Find My iPhone. It said that she was at a local bar. I rang her and she claimed she was shopping at the nearby shopping center. She was there for 1.5 hours. I have screenshots and have emailed them to a private account. My question is how I can access her last locations from her phone. I know it can be done. I will be placing a VAR in her car tonight when I get home. I want to have my ducks in a row before confronting. If I confront now, she can explain that she lied because she didn't want me to think she's an alcoholic. Before people start, I want to do this right, then catch her. If she has violated trust this time, she won't know what's hit her. Pretty hurt right now. I don't believe she ever worked that one out. We'll be using the same VAR. I've just finished charging the batteries. We'll insert in car tonight before she goes to the gym. We don't have allocated cars, we take first one out of driveway. She will leave for the gym not long after I get home, so she should be taking the one I drove to work today. If she did meet up with someone today, I'm guessing they won't be able to resist not talking in the car, as she can't communicate at the moment, as she just picked up the kids from school and my girls will tell me a boy rang her. Brief update. So, I got home and played it cool. She had already left for the gym, so wasn't able to install VAR in her car. We'll do that tonight. I did get a hold of her phone for 5 minutes this morning. Frequent locations had not showed up yesterday's results, and yes, it was turned on. I have confirmed that she did meet up with supposed friend for half hour. She bought a pair of earrings at 12:30 p.m. as per bank statement. Then 1:15 p.m. until 2:45 p.m. is the times in question. At this stage, it would seem that she met someone by chance in the shopping center that she knew after friend had gone back to work, then they took off for a drink. Why would she lie? I only have one condition she knows won't be tolerated. Male friends. She can buy and go out wherever she likes, just no males. I'm gathering she ran into a male friend that she knew at the shopping center, then they took off for a drink. It's the only logical explanation for her telling me she was shopping when quite clearly she wasn't. Time will tell. Patiently monitoring. It is worth gathering proof, as I have young children and won't be made the scapegoat if I find deceiving behavior and I initiate divorce. Cheaters have a habit of blaming their spouse and creating lies to family and friends. If I have proof, I will do exposure so she can't lie. She just rang as I was typing. Apparently, she bought me an expensive gift. Must say I checked location yesterday when I knew she would be picking up the kids from school. Bang on accurate. For the most part, she was located at the bar, then at a restaurant near the bar for 25 minutes. After that, she picked up the kids from school and have screenshots of that too. I want to ensure that she has no room to make me the scapegoat to friends and family if I discover anything that will prompt me to separate. Truth be said, I am growing very tired of her childlike tantrums and never taking responsibility for things. My wife has had it very easy up until now. She is a stay-at-home and I pay for everything. I don't care if she goes out with the girls, what she buys, etc. I only have one condition. No friends of the opposite gender. If I find out she has violated that condition, it will be over. Quick update. So last night I was sure I would catch my wife dead to rights lying. She rang me whilst I was on my way home from work. She stated that she would be going to the gym, then she will be late home as she intended to go shopping. I really thought bingo, got you. I played it off cool, wished her well in her gym class. I waited 45 minutes, then activated Find My iPhone. It was giving me an address different to the gym a whole street away. I proceeded to the address and office building and waited there 45 minutes. The app was showing her location there throughout. When it was time for her class to finish, I made my way to the gym and waited at the entrance. I was ready for confrontation and to end the marriage right there once I had caught her not being there. To my great surprise, she was at the gym and the iPhone app was completely off. Even as I noticed her walking out of the gym, I again activated the app, which showed her at the wrong address. Now I am in doubt as to how guilty she is of lying of whereabouts on Monday. I am aware that it is still possible that Monday's destination on the app was accurate, but it has left me with more reason to allow for the possibility that the app is not that accurate. It has highlighted one thing though. Whether innocent or not, once a cheater breaks trust, it is gone for good. I will be listening to the VAR later. I will keep discreetly monitoring the situation. 3 years later, the events of today have left me shattered and sad. For weeks I have known that something is wrong but wanted definitive evidence. We have been having issues with a so-called male friend who my wife communicates with often. I know definitely they don't meet up, as I have been keeping tabs on locations and whereabouts. Plus, the fact that we actually work together makes it difficult for her to take off alone. Today started like no other. Woke up, realized we had no coffee, ducked off to the supermarket, did some shopping at 7 a.m., then came home. At 8 a.m. my wife woke up, made a coffee, and we started to watch TV together. At 8:30 a.m. one of my daughters comes downstairs and asks me to come into her room. Then she showed me a Snapchat on my wife's phone from a man I know. Snapchat said, "Love you and miss your face." This is not the first time this individual had sent her inappropriate messages. I had confronted her before and she said she would deal with it. Naturally, I didn't believe her. I had my daughter send me the screenshot and I confronted. My exact words were, "Do you want to be married or divorced?" She had no idea what I was talking about, so I showed her the snap. All she said was, "That's inappropriate, I will talk to him." I have heard this story before. An hour later she took the dog for a walk. I was left to fume. As stated, these inappropriate messages have been happening for a while. Not to mention the fact that my wife has not worn her wedding ring in a month. Thank goodness we have separate bank accounts. I have provided a good life for this woman. We are by no means rich, but we are comfortable. We have a nice house, 2 nice cars, and a small house loan. Our children go to a private school and my wife wants for nothing. Yet she is unappreciative and ungrateful. I had to stay cool as my daughters were competing at state athletics championships. I did not want to ruin their chances or stress them out as they compete at a very high level. After state championships were over, my daughters informed me that my wife has changed her phone PIN. I confronted again, and naturally my wife did the usual script that guilty parties do. "You invaded my privacy. I can't help what other people send me. Why are you all ganging up on me, etc." Finally, my 2 daughters said to her, "If you can't be real, just leave the house. You're cheating on Dad." Wife said that's fine and declared we are broken up. Tonight is my wife's father's 80th birthday dinner. I decided I wasn't going to go and pretend to play happy families. Long story short, I got guilted into going. "My dad has done nothing to you. He is old and sick. You can't ruin his night." So here I am at dinner typing this out. As sad as I am, I know I don't deserve this. I have been a good husband and probably tolerated too much that I should have acted on sooner. The twins have declared they will come with me as they don't condone their mother's actions. I hope they don't change their minds later. So here I am on a Saturday night venting my issues and knowing next week I will have to make some hard decisions. First thing Monday, I am going to book myself an appointment with the best family lawyer in the state. I'm by no means rich, but not exactly struggling for money. I'm aware that a good lawyer is a valuable investment. I'm very well aware of my realities. Over the weekend I exposed to other man's wife, sent her the messages. She was very upset but thanked me. They have kids and she assured me he will be dealt with. My wife's family was having a lunch gathering yesterday. Soon-to-be ex insisted I come and pretend to play happy families. Whilst there I exposed to everyone and handed out printed copies of the messages. Her family were appalled at her. Today I took the day off work. We worked together, but I got up early and left the house before she was out of bed. I made appointments with the top 5 divorce attorneys in the state. I have visited 2 today. The other 3 I will visit later this week. I know which one I am going to go with. I settled the retainer this morning. My objective now is to exclude the other top 4 legal representatives by having a consultation visit with them. My soon-to-be ex has been blowing up my phone and sending messages of "Why you at work aren't today?" She will soon find out that I have rounded up her account and will be presenting her the bill for her actions. I have taken the week off work. I told my manager I have some personal issues I need to resolve. I'm using the week to sort out some of my affairs and visit other lawyers. My main aim is to exclude my wife from accessing the best family lawyers. My wife's sister is currently going through a custody battle and is using the lawyer I paid the retainer to. He has a very high profile and is ruthless. Last night I had to play it cool to my wife. She kept asking why I didn't come into work, etc. So I told her I need time to myself and to heal. I don't want to tip her off to the fact that I'm lawyer shopping. My wife's sister is very clued in on issues, so regardless of how appalled they are at her now, I'm very well aware that family tend to stick together and they will try to guide her to the best lawyers possible. After this week that should not be a problem as I would have visited the top 5 family lawyers in our state. On another note, I bagged up her clothing and moved them to the spare bedroom. There is no bed there, so wife tried to sleep in one of the girls' rooms. They both would not have her, so she slept on the couch. I think my wife believes this is just a storm in a teacup and it will just pass. She is sadly mistaken. I plan to fight for full custody of my children. We are filing for full custody and will negotiate down from there. Not much progress on the home front. My daughters did report a phone conversation they heard STB ex-wife have with her sister. Apparently wife's sister is telling her she should seek legal advice and prepare her position in case I don't come around and forgive and forget. Wife's sister is offering the services of her lawyer and gave her the number. Described him as the best in the state. I would like to be a fly on the wall when she calls and gets knocked back by the firm due to me engaging them. This week should be interesting. The crap hit the fan when my wife tried to engage the lawyer I hired and was told he was representing me. Wife and her sister worked their way down the top 5 list of lawyers I had consulted. They both had a total meltdown at me, accusing me of fighting dirty, etc. Since the meltdown, wife has been on her best behavior, even mentioning we should try to work out our marriage and not separate. I have calmly informed her reconciliation is not happening. A couple of days after that conversation, she tried to seduce me with bonding. I knocked her back and informed her not everything can be fixed with bonding. Half a year later, it all started 3 weeks ago. My daughter rang me saying that her mom has been acting shady with her phone, laughing at messages received, tilting the phone away when texting or reading a message. My daughter confronted her. There was an argument at the shopping mall between them, and I received the phone calls at work, first by my daughter informing me of this behavior, then by my wife calling my daughter a liar and troublemaker. I play it cool and try not to show too much suspicion when I arrive home from work, but intent on keeping a quiet eye on this behavior. 3 days later, we are out celebrating Christmas carols where I notice my wife on her phone. Then she quickly tilts the phone away and clicks out of an app. I ask who she is texting. She says no one, just browsing Facebook. That wasn't the Facebook app I saw and memorize what the app looked like. It did not take me long to work out the app she was on was Viber. I had never heard of this before, so downloaded to my phone, and sure enough she pops up as a contact and active user. The next day we visit the doctors and I noticed that she had received Viber message on her home screen. Long story short, the message is in hidden format, so requires a PIN code to enable use. Of course, I don't know the code. Wife denies message from Viber with claims of I don't know why I'm receiving blank Viber messages. It must be a generic thing. I don't know. I don't use it. She explains away she originally downloaded the app for her study group communication, but they decided to use WhatsApp instead. I know, biggest gaslight, right? A few days pass and I can't see Viber messages popping up on the home screen, but my app is showing her as a contact and actively logging on every hour or so. 2 days ago, she drops off the girls and a friend to an amusement park, then proceeds to go shopping. I ring her a few hours later on my lunch break, no answer. I probably rang 4 times over an hour period and left a message. She eventually calls back and she's automatically on the defense. What's my problem? Why call 4 times? She did not hear the phone, etc. On top of this, when I innocently ask her where she went shopping, she randomly accuses me of spying on her and questions me if I have shown up suddenly to spy on her. Weird behavior, right? I call out this behavior as nonsense and I end the phone call. Wife arrives home. There is nothing bought at the shops or no sign of any purchases reflected on our bank account. Not even lunch. I arrive home from work to a lecture of how I'm controlling, emotionally abusive, and she should be reporting me to the cops. Of course, I'm got smacked and distraught at this behavior and completely false statements from her. I respond with that she is acting shady and that she is still on Viber, which she denies. I pull out my phone, send her a Viber message, to which she replies I won't receive the message, I've disabled notifications. Of course, I am fuming as I'm obviously being gaslighted that she is not on Viber yet goes to all the trouble of disabling the notifications for Viber only. I stupidly proceed to point out that app is showing that she was on Viber 17 minutes ago. She says I'm stupid, I don't know how to use the app, I'm spying on her. She runs upstairs, takes her phone and proceeds to delete me as a contact on Viber. Obviously she does not want me knowing when she's on Viber despite her claims of not being on it. My daughter informs me that she had noticed she had changed my name in her phone. Wife had me under Bub but had now put me in under my normal name. Daughter says she noticed it the other day when I messaged her. Yesterday I was celebrating Christmas lunch with some close workmates. Daughter again rings me to say she walked in on her mom in our bedroom on the phone reading a message. When wife saw my daughter enter the room, she hurriedly flipped the phone face down, then ran to the bathroom and locked the door. That was enough for me. I excused myself from my mate's lunch for a few minutes, walked outside and rang a private investigator. I'm not playing this game with her. I am not naive, nor will I bury my head in the sand and pretend everything is okay. There is obviously something going on. My wife is not going to be truthful and tell me, so I'll have the investigator uncover the truth for me, then proceed to dump physical evidence on the table as concrete and undeniable truth of infidelity. My daughters are teenagers and old enough to know the truth. At least this way she can't lie gaslight friends and family that I'm a paranoid jealous madman. This whole situation sucks. I'm empty inside and cannot begin to explain how lonely I feel through it all. I now have to sit here during the Christmas period pretending to play happy families all the whilst dying inside. Why can't cheaters just be honest and tell their partner, I no longer want to be faithful to you, I want to play around, so we will go on our separate ways? Instead, they choose to selfishly lie, project blame, falsely accuse, and make life unfearingly miserable for their tortured partners whilst accepting all the luxuries their cheated partner provides. My comment: this is an important lesson for people who keep their cheating partner around for years. Nothing will change. You cannot fix anyone. You can only fix yourself. If your ex changes, you don't need to do a thing. If they don't change, you still don't need to do a thing.